Let me present to you Death of the Creator. Now, as we all know, there has been an ongoing subscriber war between PewDiePie versus T-Series. T-Series being an Indian music company with a large amount of subscribers because of their production of Indian music as well as Indian movies and whatnot. And then there's PewDiePie, a simple individual who brought YouTube to where it is now and is currently the number one most subscribed YouTuber, who is pretty much a simple individual. Now, as we know, like there's a lot of people in India. There's a lot of internet users in India that go on to YouTube, and as they go on to YouTube, they get recommended stuff. See, when you first sign into YouTube, you are presented with like the homepage, and you see the recommended, you see the trending, and based on your demographics, those will really change. I'm not sure if that does change, but it is quite the possibility because in India, T-Series is a major thing in there. Hindi music is a major thing, and T-Series being the main person who really produces the indie music is going to be a really big recommended thing. So a lot of people in India will go ahead and subscribe to that. Now, that seems all great and all, but what it is it kind of shows YouTube's douchebag state. Now, to get into this, I must first tell you what T-Series versus PewDiePie really is. T-Series versus PewDiePie is not a company versus an individual. It is YouTube versus its creators. And for that, I have to just explain that to you. Now, as I just told you in the beginning, how in India people are subscribing to T-Series because it's recommended, this is how YouTube versus creators factors into this. Now, we all know in the past that there has been some controversial stuff, and YouTube really cut back on those creators who produced content that was a little edgy, as well as it did cut back on creators in itself in a way to help rebuild its image. Now, that's fine and all, but what it's doing to rebuild its image is not the best thing in the world. In fact, it's only hurting its image. As I said, when you first sign into YouTube, you're going to see people like T-Series first recommended to you. That is the way of how YouTube's trying to fix its image, by promoting companies. Now, you don't need to be in India just for this to happen. You could be anywhere. And it doesn't need to be T-Series. It could be any company. Like when I go into YouTube to, like, if I sign out and go to the homepage, I'll be greeted with like recommended stuff from Saturday Night Live. I'll be recommended stuff from any other news network or TV station. Now, this seems all okay and great in paper, but it's not. As I said, it's only hurting their image because they don't want to promote their creators. Now, these creators, as I said, especially PewDiePie, were the people who built up YouTube, who started off in like the early days and brought YouTube to where it is now, as well as it most certainly did start the age of the internet, as a lot of people were going to YouTube to see these online video entertainers, as well as these entertainers online like PewDiePie. It started to inspire people to go out and become these video entertainers, from simply being like a gamer, or like doing book reviews, or like doing like how-tos, fixing things, home improvements, and practically any other thing. And because of this, a lot of companies saw this trend for people to go online to see the view stuff and see stuff, that they shifted from TV to making stuff online like Netflix, Hulu, things like that, so that people can watch wherever. And I know it's a lot of information that I just threw at you, but it really shows the importance of people like PewDiePie to YouTube. Now, and as I said earlier, how YouTube had its little like issues, and they decided to fix its image by using these companies and promoting people like PewDiePie and more creators. And it only shows how you're being a big douchebag and like pretty scummish to these people who helped make your platform so large and so big. It really does show. And that's how and why like, this is a big deal because the more companies that they produce, the more people that they have on because of showing all these companies, the more YouTube's not going to really care about its creators. And we're going to see this when T-Series passes PewDiePie, or will they? When T-Series eventually passes PewDiePie, YouTube will probably start promoting T-Series and will start promoting things like that because that's what they think people are coming to YouTube for. They're coming to YouTube to see these companies, and YouTube is just going to like slowly but surely move away from these creators and simply just become TV online. And I will say that these changes will come slow, but they are already happening as we speak. Now, as sad as it is, it's just a really big douchebag like to these people who helped YouTube, have helped YouTube just become as big as it is. YouTube's slogan when it first started was broadcast yourself. Now, that was a really big thing and really inspirational to people like me to go on YouTube and just make your own videos, make things like that. Now, YouTube has completely moved away from that. They want to be more of a more company based, more of a like a more corporal, where they don't really care about these creators anymore. And that is what I'm trying to tell you, that they just don't care about the creators anymore. And this is why it's just a big deal, because it's important to keep PewDiePie on top. Because of PewDiePie on top, we have like more creators on there. We have YouTube caring about these creators. And it's pretty little now, and when T-Series does eventually pass PewDiePie, YouTube will stop caring about its creators. And it's just an inevitable thing to happen. Now, it's a big douchebag thing, and that's why it's so important. It just shows, it's just to help prevent the inevitable death of the creator. That's why it's important for us to go ahead and subscribe to PewDiePie, because it's to prevent and show YouTube that these people who made YouTube really, it matters to people, it matters to like the platform, so that it inspires the next generation of creators, next generation of video entertainers, and it brings in people to view YouTube, to view like the platform and make it last longer. Now, another thing is, which is really stupid of YouTube, I have to say, is for them to promote these companies, because these companies are making millions. They don't need to be on YouTube. They really don't need to be on YouTube, because YouTube does pay people like per video or whatever it is. Like as you can see for T-Series, like this is on Social Blade, the estimated numbers of their monthly earnings and their yearly earnings is insane. They're just sucking the life out of YouTube, pretty much. They're just sucking YouTube dry of money. And that's just one company. There's millions of companies on YouTube. And for these companies to be on there, it's just not worth for YouTube to promote these people who are just sucking the money out of them. It doesn't make sense. As well as it doesn't make sense for YouTube to promoting them, as I said, because it's just going to hurt their image, as well as it's going to pretty much end the creator, and it's going to not really inspire people to go out and make and become like a creator and become the next generation of video entertainers, because they're not seeing anyone really show. They're not going to see really anyone there to see that, oh yeah, you can do that, you can be like this big, you can be a video entertainer, you can be something like that. No, all they're going to see is these companies, and they're just going to be, and it's going to be like watching TV. It's going to eventually die out. In a way to end my rant on YouTube, I will just say this. I think it's a great idea to have companies on YouTube. I think it's a great way to advertise and really gain people to see your company. But what I don't think is right is for YouTube to promote them. Promote your creators. Promote the people who made YouTube YouTube. so that you can inspire the next generation of creators, so that you can keep your platform alive. That's my ending of YouTube. Now, moving on to the people who promoted T-Series. So why do you want to promote T-Series after what I said? Because it's only going to end YouTube's liking towards creators. It's going to end your YouTube career, and it's just going to end the next generation of creators. So why do you want to do that? Go promote PewDiePie so that you can continue to like all your Indian stuff and all whatever you watch. Go promote PewDiePie because he is a representation of the creators. He is representing the creators as a whole to YouTube, so that YouTube does know that, hey, we're there too. Listen, we float on the same boat here. There's no need to promote a company. The company can promote themselves. You don't need to promote this company. I can see why you want to have India as number one, because it really shows your progression. But there's other ways you can show your progression by having more people, Indian people, on YouTube. You don't need to have T-Series as number one, because as I said, it's just going to end up killing YouTube. Go subscribe to PewDiePie so that you can show YouTube that I matter. People like you matter. The creators matter. As well as unsub from T-Series, because as I was explaining to you, T-Series will bring the death of YouTube. Do you want the death of YouTube? Do you want the death of creators? Do you want the people who you watch to die off because YouTube doesn't want to promote their stuff anymore? Do you want that? Of course you don't. Unsub from T-Series. They can promote themselves. We don't need them on YouTube. Now here's the master plan, and this is what you click for, and now you will get it. Now please note this. Now I'm targeting certain people in this, so please listen up, people. You will hear your names in this, so listen up. So, first step of the master plan is for me to do my things. I've printed 500 copies for a Subscribe to PewDiePie flyer that I will be putting on every doorstep in my town. I've also contacted a news station, radio station, as well as I've contacted some newspapers to get the Subscribe to PewDiePie thing into the mass media. The next part of it, which is really important and which I will need the help of Mr. Beast, because he will be 100% able to get this to happen. Now please, Mr. Beast, DM me. Let's talk about this. We can make this happen. Trust me, I know what to do. I just need you. This will work. What needs to happen is a commercial. Now the commercial doesn't need to be some big, huge, fancy thing, as well as it doesn't need to be on some specific network. All it needs to be is a simple commercial about Subscribe to PewDiePie. They're not that expensive, the commercials, but it's a great way of getting the information out there about Subscribe to PewDiePie. Second thing that really needs to happen is for Subscribe to PewDiePie to be presented to major news sources. These major news sources will be like Fox, CNN, NBC, and other stations like that. These stations are broadcasted nationally so that many people can see it, as well they are the most viewed stations out there, so that we can get a most amount of people to view and subscribe to PewDiePie. Now this is the third thing that must happen. Now listen up, because I'm going to target certain people, and I need those people to really do this. Really do this. Is Dude Perfect, GMM, 5 Minute Crafts, Dan TDM, all those people and more, maybe even James Charles, to do a Subscribe to PewDiePie thing, so that we can get all the areas of YouTube to go ahead and combine to do a Subscribe to PewDiePie thing, so we can get those fan bases to combine to Subscribe to PewDiePie. As well, what would be really beneficial is PewDiePie to get on Hot Ones. Should happen. I'm just going to end step 3 with saying this. You got to do this, Dude Perfect. Dude Perfect, you really need to. I know you guys did a little subscribe to PewDiePie thing, but you guys need to really do like a whole big one. You guys really need to do a whole big subscribe to PewDiePie thing, because it will be beneficial to you guys. You will get a lot more subscribers and viewers, and that's also all beneficial. Fourth step of this is going to be a little hard, but I know it can happen. We need to get the superstars to do subscribe to PewDiePie. Now, if let's use Katy Perry for example. If Katy Perry did a subscribe to PewDiePie video, all of her fans will go ahead and subscribe to PewDiePie. Maybe not all of them, but I know a large amount because Katy Perry is a respectable person, and her fans will pretty much do whatever it is for her. And it doesn't need to be just Katy Perry. It needs to be like as many people, as many superstars as we can. Go ahead and subscribe to PewDiePie, and then that will get coverage on the news. That will really make the sub gap really large. Now the final step, which will really help out if we really get like Sony India to do a subscribe to PewDiePie thing, if we get like the big stars in India to do subscribe to PewDiePie, this will really get a lot of people on the inside to subscribe to PewDiePie and unsub from T-Series. Now, that's the master plan. I hope we can follow this. Just make sure that when we're doing this, that it needs to be spread out within a week, so that the trend can last longer, a longer trend. That was the master plan. I hope you guys enjoy it, and please subscribe to PewDiePie, and if you like this, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video, Warriors. Stay meme-tastic, and goodbye!